This is an open letter to Uncle Sam and my pink skinned friends in general. The inhabitants of so-called liberal democracies of the West. There was in the news just recently that there was a woman from somewhere in Uncle Sam's land who was praised for rescuing 10 or whatever number of girls who were supposedly part of the Afghanistan one and only robotic team that participated in some kind of international competition. And this was in the news, and she was praised that such a sacrifice and such a great woman to rescue these girls after the Taliban has taken over. The Taliban have taken over Afghanistan, and supposedly this was a praiseworthy act to rescue these girls. I beg to differ. Here's the thing, Uncle Sam. Here's the thing, my pink-skinned friends. A society can produce a limited number of brainiacs, people who are interested in knowledge and who accumulate knowledge and who like to, learn. Any society produces only a certain limited number of brainiacs, and also societies produce a limited wealth, have a limited wealth and can produce a limited wealth, usually very proportional to the number of brainiacs that it has. More brains, you can produce more wealth. The more brains you have, the more intelligent people you have. They produce stuff, design stuff, and produce stuff, and whatever they produce creates more wealth. What has happened during the past couple of 100 years of pink-skin colonialism on planet Earth is that the pink-skins, the European pink-skins, the North American pink-skins, they basically turn to the shitholes of the world, Africa, Asia, South America, and they tell the population, you're welcome to come to our land, pink-skin land, if you're wealthy. And how they welcome people like that is they say, yeah, show us your wealth and let us see you're willing to pick up your wealth and bring it to our land, our neighborhood, and we give you a green card, we give you residentship easily, no problem. You just have to have the wealth for us to give you the papers necessary. So in other words, if you're poor, fuck you, stay wherever the shithole you are. But if you're rich and you want to live in our land, please Here are here are the paperworks that you need. We facilitate your transition from your shed hole to our great hole, to our glory hole. We facilitate your transition from your shed hole to our glory hole, and we give you a blowjob as well. And also, if you have a brain to work with, if you have a couple of brain cells to rub together, you're also welcome. Show us that you know, some kind of a degree, some kind of a skill that you have, and you're also welcome. You can come to our land too, because, you know, your brain also can create wealth, is equivalent to wealth. And this is what the pinkskins on this planet have done. North America, Europe, Australia, wherever pinkskins have gone, they have, you know, facilitated the movement of wealthy people and intelligent people, informed people, to their land, to your land, Uncle Sam, but prohibited the movement of poor people and stupid people to the said land, to the same lands. And this movement of this transition, this facilitation, this transition of these 10, you know, members of the Afghanistan girls robotic team qualifies under that. Sort of like, yes, it seems you're intelligent and you like to learn and you like to create. Come on over. We facilitate that. We facilitate your transition. Well, this has been going on for a couple of hundred years of colonialism. It goes back to, you know, the first intelligent and rich Indians who, you know, landed in the British island. There were, you know, rich Indians, intelligent Indians who went to British universities, rich Indians. Again, same idea. The British colonial masters decided that, you know, facilitated the travel and residency of rich and intelligent Indians in the British Islands. Same thing in most of the rest of the colonial Europe. You know, Hungary didn't do that. Hungary doesn't have any, you know, intelligent brown and black people, but the British have a lot of intelligent brown and black people. You know, Poland doesn't have a lot of intelligent black and brown people, yellow or red people, but the French have a lot of intelligent, you know, brown and black and red and yellow people, yellow skins. The reason is because the British and the French and the Spanish and these motherfuckers were the colonial powers. So Poland never colonized any country. So this idea of facilitating the movement of, you know, the rich and the intelligent people from the occupied land in the colonized land to its own land, it then never happened. But it happened all over Britain. It happened in the British island, it happened in the French, with the French, it happened with the Spanish. So you get, and the result is that the wealth creates more wealth, and intelligent people also create more wealth, and wealth on top of wealth is great. And this same idea was adopted by the Canadians and the Americans, Uncle Sam and Canada. Same idea was implemented in Australia, New Zealand, sort of like, okay, if you're brown, you're black, you're yellow, it's okay, you can come over here only if you are wealthy or you're intelligent. And as I said, this, you know, this rescuing of these 10 or so girls from the Afghan robotics team, first and only Afghan robotic team, qualifies under the same category. If you're intelligent, we want you, come on over. Now, it may not make sense to you what I'm saying. What's the problem with this idea? You may not get it, my pink-skinned friends. So let me explain it in a different way, so you can get what's the problem with this idea. The problem with this idea you can clearly know if we change it to such a format. Imagine there is an alien race comes down from the sky, from another planet. An alien race comes to Earth and says, looks around and says, you motherfuckers are stupid, you motherfuckers are primitive, tells all us humans on Earth, you motherfuckers are stupid, you motherfuckers are primitive, you motherfuckers are backward as compared to us, the aliens from space, from planet X, Y, and Z. And we need to, change your format, the format that you're running your governments, your societies. We need to change that as an alien race who knows better. So they start, going around and trying to forcefully change the government institutions and government structures and social structures. And meanwhile, that's what colonialism is. Forcefully trying to change the social structure and governmental structure, and whatever structure you see, change it to what it fits your imagination, what it fits your liking, how it benefits you as a colonizing power. That's what colonialism is. So imagine an alien race lands their spaceship on Earth and first of all looks around and says, all of you humans are shit. You don't know what the fuck you're doing. We know better. Here's how we're going to implement it. And if you don't agree with us, we're going to bomb the shit out of you. And by the way, some of you seem intelligent and some of you, have some kind of wealth in terms of gold and silver. You guys can come to our planet, no problem. Here you can come all get into our spaceship. We take you to our planet, the intelligent one and the wealthy ones. Bring your wealth and bring your intelligence, get into the ship, and we go to Shangri-La. We have a heaven up there as compared to the shithole that you have on Earth. We have created a heaven in our planet. So you're welcome to come over there. Anybody, any human with money, with wealth, or intelligence, you can come over. Easy. Here are your paperwork. Here is some paper, your residency in planet Shangri-La. The rest of you motherfuckers, go fuck yourself on Earth. And not only go fuck yourself, but also from time to time, we don't agree with how you're running shit. We're gonna come over and try to bomb you into changing you in order to change you in a format that we can understand, that we can benefit, that we can do business with. You see, it doesn't feel right. Why wouldn't? It doesn't sound right. It doesn't feel right. It's not right. Nobody thinks that it would be a good idea for an alien race to come to Earth and treat us Earthlings, us humans on Earth, like that. Take away the wealth and take away the intelligence from Earth to their planet, and leave us with poor, stupid people. That's exactly what the pink skins on Earth have done to the rest of the planet. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly the same thing. If you're wealthy, come on over. If you're intelligent, come on over. What remains in those shed holes? Poor, unintelligent people, humans. So you have in Guatemala, you have, you know, one doctor per 1,000 people, for example, in Guatemala. And Uncle Sam says, according to the immigration laws of Uncle Sam or Canada, the idea is that, oh, if there's a doctor from Guatemala and he wants to immigrate to Canada or immigrate to Uncle Sam's land, yeah, they can apply, and because they're doctor and we need doctors in the pink skin lands, we'll let them come in, no problem, within a short period. Yeah, let them come in, we need them. Well, you take a couple of handful of those doctors from Guatemala, and you're left with what? It used to be 1,000 people per doctor. After a decade or so, you will have 10,000 people per doctor. Every doctor now has to, service 10,000 people. And on the other hand, you're telling the Guatemalans that, no, you're poor. The rest of you motherfuckers who are not doctors, you can't come. Well, you're taking their doctor away. You're taking their engineer away. You're not taking them away. You're facilitating their movement to the pink skin land. You're taking their intelligent people. You're allowing their intelligent people to migrate, but you're blocking the unintelligent from movement. So what is going to remain in the shed hole? A bunch of unintelligent people. Then when it comes to wealth, you allow wealthy people to apply for immigration, and you easily give immigration to them just, because they have invested a boatload of money in the pink skin land. And based on immigration laws that allows that, immigration laws that are friendly to wealth, immigration laws that are friendly to intelligence, you bring their wealth over to the pink skin land as well. So a bunch of wealthy brown skins move to the pink skin land. A bunch of intelligent brown skins move to the pink skin land. In those shed hole, what remains is a bunch of poor, unintelligent people. Decade after decade after decade after decade. What do you think is going to happen? What do you think is going to happen? In areas, geographies of the planet which has become empty of intelligence and empty of wealth, what do you think is going to happen? Here's the thing. I mean, an ideal situation would be that, instead of the big great empires taking all the intelligent people of the world and all the wealth of the world, instead of that, it would make a lot more sense to send them intelligent people. Not send them bombs, not send them Kalashnikovs, not send them cruise missiles. Don't sell them cruise missiles and don't bomb them with cruise missiles. Send them intelligent people. Instead of taking away their robotic team, send them a robotic team. Just to teach them. Or else this unevenness on planet Earth that has taken place, this unevenness of, you have a Shangri-La of United States or Canada, which again, it's not even unfortunately even in a Shangri-La like United States, you have, you know, Shangri-Las, and then you have shitholes, mostly shitholes, because allowing this concentration of, okay, if you're intelligent and you're wealthy, you come and live in San Francisco. But if you're not intelligent and you're not wealthy, you can go to Oklahoma. It's sort of like even this segregation within geographies has taken place. So not only, you know, not only the intelligent and wealthy from Guatemala have moved north to Canada or to United States, but also within Canada and within United States, the intelligent and wealthy have moved to a certain cities, certain states, certain cities, and segregation has taken place based on the, you know, price of living, purchasing power. If you can purchase a home in San Francisco, a shithole in San Francisco goes for a couple of $1 million, then you can live in San Francisco. But if you can't purchase a home or rent a home at enormous prices, you cannot live in San Francisco. You have to go to Idaho. Well, this segregation is taking place within the geographies as well, within the geography of the same country as well. And eventually what you're going to end up with, you're going to, you know, end up with World War Z, that movie, that stupid movie that was playing some time ago. You know, a bulk of segregation between a small minority of wealthy and intelligent people, and the rest of the planet who apparently have to, you know, start eating each other. It's not going to, you know, it's not going to end well. It's just not. The solution to this is that distribution of intelligent and wealthy people to farther corners of the geography and to farther corners of the planet. And if that means forceful, or if it might have to be forceful, or it might have to, you know, first just clip the immigration laws. Make it so that, okay, if you're not taking in the poor from Uganda, you shouldn't be taking the rich from Uganda either as immigrants. If you're not taking the poor people from Guatemala as immigrants, you shouldn't be taking the rich people from Guatemala as immigrants either. If you're not taking the stupid people as immigrants from Guatemala, you shouldn't be taking their doctors and engineers either. You see what I mean? First step is, if you're not allowing the movement of the poor and the stupid, you shouldn't allow the movement of the rich and intelligent, because it will create an unevenness of intelligence and wealth within the geography of planet Earth. That's the first step. If you don't want the poor of other countries into your country, you shouldn't want the rich either. You shouldn't be allowed to invite the rich either. If you don't want the stupid from the other countries into your land, you shouldn't be allowed to invite their intelligent people either. That's because the unevenness is going to hurt everybody. It's going to create a fucked up planet. Just like, you know, if the alien comes and says, okay, whoever is wealthy and whoever is intelligent can come to our planet, the rest of you motherfuckers eat shit on Earth. It just won't create a, you know, a healthy environment, these policies. And same thing. I mean, if you can't restrict it, if you don't want to force it, and if within a country, if you don't want to, force it, forcing, if you don't want to, have, the old Chinese policy of preventing people from moving within a country, then you should incentivize. The government should incentivize the intelligent people to move into, far-flung places. Government should incentivize wealthy people and intelligent people to move to, less developed areas, or areas with less intelligent people and less wealthy people. Just incentivize it, whatever it takes. For example, it could be Afghanistan. I mean, in terms of Afghanistan, American tourists should be incentivized. American youngsters, 18, 19, 20, should be incentivized to become tourists in Afghanistan. How do you incentivize an 18-year-old to just go live in Afghanistan for 2 years? Is you pay that 18-year-old to live over there, not as a soldier, but as a tourist. Here, my friend, here, Stephen, Michael, Joe, Jane, here is $2,000 a month if you go live over there. End of story. You are incentivizing intelligent people, or at least people who have finished high school, to go live between people who maybe at the moment they can't read or write, but still this communication, this proximity, this close proximity will benefit the local shithole. The people in the local shithole will benefit from proximity with people who just finished high school, and they're getting paid $2,000 a month to live in Afghanistan, live in Iraq as tourists. Just communicate with local population and live next to the local population. Spend money in the local population. The local population are going to love these people as tourists. They hate the local population, hate soldiers from foreign countries, but they love tourists from foreign countries. If the aliens land on Earth, if they come with guns as soldiers, alien soldiers, everybody on Earth is going to hate them. But if aliens come to Earth as tourists with beach umbrellas, everybody on Earth is going to love them. Sort of like, hey, they're coming here, they're going to the beach, they're spending money eating our food, spending money. We love them. Same thing with Americans and Canadians and Australians and Europeans. You want to help those shitholes? Send them tourists. Incentivize your people to move over there. Don't bring their people, their intelligent people to your place. Send your intelligent people to their place. I repeat again. Don't take the girls' robotic team out of Afghanistan. Send the American girls' robotic team to Afghanistan to interact with those Afghan girls. Send 1,000 tourists to Afghanistan every month. Incentivize 1,000 Americans to go to Afghanistan and stay there for 2 years every month. 2,000. And watch Afghanistan flourish. Watch Afghanistan become San Francisco. Yes, there is going to be some, some issues at the beginning, but everybody loves a tourist, especially a tourist who's coming in and smiling and not shooting at anybody. They're smiling and they're spending money. The money that their government is giving them as an incentive to live over there and interact with the local shitheads. This will be a positive step. Iraq, same thing. Pakistan, same thing. Iran, same thing. Guatemala, same thing. Honduras, same thing. You want to help them? You want to help the local shitheads? Incentivize your doctors to go to Guatemala. Don't incentivize the Guatemalan doctors, the fucking handful of Guatemalan doctors that they produce. They're incentivized to move to the pink skin land. Do it the other way around. Incentivize the pink skin doctors to go and practice in Guatemala. Hey, if you go to Guatemala and practice over there, we are not going to collect any tax from you. That's an incentive. If you go and, practice medicine in Guatemala for 10 years, then you can, if you return to United States, we are not going to collect tax from you for the next 10 years practicing in United States or in Canada. You see what I'm saying? There are all kinds of incentives that can be worked in the system in order to distribute the wealth, distribute the knowledge. So those shitholes would not remain shitholes for long. You cannot bomb the crazy out of the shithole, but you can send tourists to, enlighten the crazy. You can send your people, your enlightened people, to enlighten the crazy. Not with guns, not with bombs, but, with beach umbrellas. Don't take the girls' robotic team out of Afghanistan. Send your robotic team, put up the next, competition of robotic teams in Afghanistan. You see what I'm saying? It as simple as that. In my view, the United States shouldn't close its embassy in Afghanistan. It should expand it. The United States should expand its embassy in Afghanistan, send more Americans to Afghanistan, but not as soldiers, as tourists. Even the fucking Taliban's love tourists. Anybody who spends money, the local people love them. End of story. Yes, there are some fucking rules and regulations that the tourists have to abide by. Yes, whatever. But they're getting incentivized. They're getting paid. These tourists are getting paid by the, Western governments, the British, the French, the Hungarians, the Polish. They're, incentivizing their own citizens, paying them a monthly stipend, a monthly salary to go and live in shedholes and interact with the people of the shedholes in order to bring them up. This idea that Uncle Sam has, that either we are going to take over the country and we are going to own it, like in case of Afghanistan or Iraq, or we are not going to have anything to do with that country, like Iran and North Korea. It's crazy. What is this idea that either we own it or we're not going to talk with it? Either we're going to own them or we're not going to talk with them. this is not healthy. It's sort of like either we are in Afghanistan with 3 brigades or we're just going to close down the embassy and we're not going to even talk with the Afghans. This is not going to solve the problem. The 3 brigades, we just saw that. 20 years, there were like, I don't know how many brigades of Americans who were in Afghanistan. The problem was not solved. Closing the embassy, before that, for 20, 30 years, US embassy was closed in Afghanistan. That didn't solve the problem either. So closing the embassy and putting brigades of soldiers on the ground, neither one worked. We saw this. We see this, that neither one works. The United States doesn't have an embassy in Iran for the past 40 years. It doesn't work. Have they changed? No. Have the Afghans changed? No. Have the Iraqis changed? No. So not talking or talking through a barrel of the gun doesn't work. What works is, having a drink together. Going through a friendship door. Hey, we're going to set up embassy. Not only we're going to set up our embassy over here, but also we're going to send you tourists. If you will, and you can even incentivize the fucking Taliban with money. And you say, okay, if you allow us to send you 1,000 tourists a month who are going to stay in your shithole for, at least a year, every one of them, we're going to send you 1,000 tourists a month, and each one of these 1,000 is going to stay there for a year. And we're going to, don't worry about, taking care of them because we are paying them. And if you allow us to do this, we are going to allow you to, export to United States tax-free. So you're incentivizing, your own population to go over there and interact with the local shitheads to, raise their level of understanding. And then you're incentivizing the local shitheads to accept your people and treat them well by, telling them that if you do this, you can export whatever the fuck you're producing, you can export to our land tax-free. That is a positive step. Of course, the fucking Taliban at this point in time, they're probably the kind of industry they have is not going to be very sophisticated industry, so they're probably going to be able to, just export shovels to United States. But it's still tax-free shovels. It's very, it still makes some kind of economic sense. But it makes economic sense for them, so they will make sure no harm comes to the tourists. Even if there are a few tourists, some harm comes to a few tourists. There's so many young kids are getting shot in the United States in the streets anyway. I mean, it's not like, they're going from a safe place to an unsafe place. So it's not going to be, a few people might get into trouble, something bad happens to them, but something bad happens to everybody everywhere. I can get shot tonight. So the solution is more interaction, more friendly interaction, not less. treat people how you like to be treated. I mean, my pink-skinned Christian friends. It's one of the pillars of Christianity. I don't have to tell you.